Alright, bub. Time to talk all the spoilers. Welcome. You have made it to the Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler review. You have been warned from the title, by me saying spoiler review, by me saying spoiler review again, and again and again, spoiler review. Yeah, you've been warned. Alright, it's obvious. Cool. Great, we're here. Anyway. Okay, let's skip right to the point, and let's get straight to the cameos. Did the cameos live up to the hype? I felt like they did, to some degree. Now, granted, could they have gone bigger and more? Yes, but I think for the story that they told, I think it would suffice. I feel like as fans, we can get greedy and want more cameos, or maybe you're looking for that particular one. Like I said, this is a spoiler review, so we're talking all the spoilers. Iron Man was not one of them, right? Now, granted, I wasn't expecting Iron Man. I don't think most people were. But I feel like, that's the type of thing. You've seen Happy Hogan show up and we're like, ooh, is Tony Stark gonna walk in? And Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds pokes jokes at that. But the few that we did get are really solid. One of them being Chris Evans returning. And I don't know about you, but when Chris Evans appeared, I could have sworn he actually was Captain America. They really fooled me. And now, granted, I don't know if everyone else in the audience was fooled, if it was just me. Maybe my brain wasn't working properly. I was thinking it was a multiverse version of Captain America, because granted, the way he was acting and his hair and the way he spoke, I was like, this something seems off. And I don't know what it is. But I know the Fantastic Four very well. I've seen practically every superhero movie there is to see for the most part. I know very well Chris Evans was Johnny Storm, Human Torch at one point. I actually grew up on the original two Fantastic Four movies with, Silver Surfer and, Chris Evans and Jessica Alba and all that stuff. I didn't realize it until, he revealed his suit and, did flame on and went in the air. And I was like, wow, I wasn't even shocked by that. I was shocked at my disbelief of how I felt for that. And I'm glad that it was actually the Human Torch. To me, that's way cooler. Not that he's cooler than Captain America, but, I feel like if he came back as Captain America, it would have been so soon, it would have been so simple. Him coming back into Human Torch is so funny, and it fits because, the Fantastic Four was a part of Fox and that whole world, and, Fox has been buried. That was the big overlying theme of this movie, was Fox is buried, and Disney now has taken over the X-Men franchise and all of Marvel. That was the big theme behind the cameos throughout this movie. It wasn't just cameos to be cameos. It was and it wasn't. As we know, it was a multiverse story. As we know, Daredevil likes to break the fourth wall, but a big part of that is that Fox has sold the rights, or whatever went down. Disney owns it now, right? So with that came Fantastic Four, so Brendan and Chris Evans, who, it's a nice little diversion. We know him as Captain America, but people forget that he was the Human Torch at one point. Like I said, I forgot in the moment. Then you brought in Elektra, who's also a part of Fox at one point. And the funny thing about Elektra is, I actually rewatched Elektra for the first time since a little kid. Because I did see it when I was a little kid. I think I have a DVD somewhere. But I rewatched it just like a couple months ago. Had no idea she would appear in this movie, but conveniently, I happened to rewatch the movie with Jennifer Garner, Elektra. So seeing her come back in this movie after me just conveniently watching it was pretty cool. The other big cameos, or the biggest one to me, was Wesley Snipes' Blade. Now that was sick. I am a huge Blade fan. Wesley Snipes is the man. I would love for them to make a remake of Blade, which they're trying, but, we know what's going on with that. It was just so cool to see him back in the role in this grander, different universe, interacting with Deadpool and Wolverine and all these guys, and it's like a simple, street-level vampire hunter. So seeing him in this dynamic so many years later, especially the way that Blade Trinity turned out, I just had an epiphany on camera. I completely forgot that in Blade Trinity, Ryan Reynolds is in that movie. Mind blown. Wow, that makes a lot of sense now. So we just had Ryan Reynolds pair up with Blade. They've already paired together. That's crazy. I just realized this on camera. I'm posting this cut. When I was thinking of Blade Trinity, the poster came to my mind, and when you think of the poster, Ryan Reynolds, Jessica Biel, they're all there. They should have had Jessica Biel come in too. That would have been sick. But that's besides the point. I'm wondering now also, did I miss a joke about them meeting each other? I'm surprised if they didn't make a joke about that. I'm surprised they didn't reference Hannibal King, Ryan Reynolds' character from Blade Trinity, or Blade didn't confuse him. Wait, don't I know you? Like, they didn't have any of that kind of interaction. Now, granted, maybe that would have been too much of a deep dive, but I'm sure, like, the hardcore fans would have realized that, or realized it after, like me in this moment where I'm going, wow. They were already paired up together. But regardless, it was so cool to see him come in this movie. Those were the top ones, Blade, Elektra, and Human Torch Chris Evans have an appearance. Diversion of us assuming it could be Captain America, but me being dumb didn't realize that it's actually the Human Torch. Now you also had Laura from Logan. Granted, I felt like I'd seen so many leaked photos, not that of her on set, but like pictures of them reunited. I wasn't that mind blown by it. In fact, by the time when the movie where they were finding out, oh, there's another person that's a part of them and are figuring out who else is there, I already predicted when she was walking down the steps, oh, it's her. So, it's cool, wasn't mind blowing, not like Wesley Snipes. That was the most mind blowing one. Elektra was cool too. They were all unique in their own way. Channing Tatum as Gambit, that was really funny. I don't know if there's any behind the scenes reasons why was he ever supposed to be casted, or they just did it because Channing Tatum and they thought it'd be funny him trying to play that kind of character, which that's what I got out of it. So it was funny to me seeing Channing Tatum play Gambit. I'm not sure what other cameos I'm missing, but story-wise, the movie was solid. It had a good amount of heart because of Hugh Jackman and what he brings to the table. I liked that it was a beaten up, broken Now, I'm saying that, but pretty much all Wolverine has always been beaten up and broken. But they really pushed on the fact that this is the worst version. Right? The original Logan was a hero. He was the guy, the one from Logan. And this version was the one who didn't help, who didn't save people, was at the bottom of the barrel, and was laughed at, right? And it was a great story arc to go on because of that, you're playing on Ryan Reynolds and his hilarious comedy and a broken Hugh Jackman who wants nothing to do with him, and watching them slug and fight it out was a great time. I gotta give props to Disney. They did not hold back at all when it came to this movie. The blood, the guts, the gore, the explicit jokes by Ryan Reynolds. It was still very much rated R. It was very on the vein of Deadpool 2, not as explicit as Deadpool 1, but in its own way was still very much rated R and didn't waver away from that just because it was a part of Disney. They gave Ryan Reynolds, it seems like to me, the full keys to do whatever he wanted with Hugh Jackman. They went full out with the gore and the blood and the guts and the kills. Some that really made the crowd go, whoa, at a few different moments and laugh out loud the entire time. Now, I had a great time with this movie. It was fun, but it wasn't perfect. I don't know what it is, but there are certain moments I'm just like, I wanted a little bit more. I don't know if it was the right cameo that I was missing. I don't know if it was just too much jokes and not enough story. I don't know if it was just all the jokes didn't land, and maybe sometimes, and now granted, that's what Deadpool is. He's explicit jokes the entire time. There are certain moments where I was just like, okay, it's a little over the top. Now granted, that's what Deadpool is, so you kind of have to roll with the punches for that. And I think if you tame your expectations for this movie, like I tried to, you're going to have fun, you're going to enjoy it. I was basically smiling the entire time. I was always somewhat entertained, but, didn't get into the actual, heart of what I really wanted. There's that certain little X factor that movies can have, especially superhero movies, that can really take it to the next level where you're like, oh, this is an all-time great. This movie didn't have that it factor. It was still really good, it was still really solid, it was still really fun, but it doesn't have that X factor of saying, oh yeah, this is top tier. But that's okay. Not every movie has to be top tier. It was still fun to see these guys slug it out on the big screen and, really go at it. They didn't hold back with that. They had lots of fight scenes with them multiple times throughout the movie. Let me also add that the opening scene was one of my favorite opening scenes, I think, in MCU, Marvel, just in general. It played Bye 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 by NSYNC, which I love that song. I'm a big pop fan, especially 90s, 2000 pop. The music throughout this whole movie was so hilarious. It's all like pop music that just doesn't fit. I mean, it fits Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds, his comedy, but it's like, you know, he's brutally murdering people and they're playing Bye 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 by NSYNC. I mean, that's just so ridiculous. And it was blasting through the theaters. Like, it was so loud in my theaters when they're playing Bye Bye Bye. I couldn't even hear if other people were laughing. That's how loud it was. I know I was laughing. So yeah, every time he fought Wolverine, I forget the songs already. I have to look back. That's the one thing I think that will make this movie memorable, is all the funny songs and memeable moments you could have with the fights. They were always playing some sort of song that was just so funny for the scene and the context, and it only works for Deadpool. Any other movie, it would take you out of the movie and say, what is this? But for Deadpool, it's just a part of his character, and it works. I don't know how it works, I don't know why it works, but it works. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Yes, I enjoyed the movie. It was fun. It was a great time. Was the story that memorable or that groundbreaking? No, but I think this movie was more about an event. It was more about a spectacle. It was more about seeing two legends coexists for the first time. The first real time, because, you know, they didn't do it right in X-Men Origins. But for the first real time, you see them together, battling out. The cameos were great. It was great seeing Chris Evans again, Wesley Snipes, Jennifer Garner as Elektra, Channing Tatum was cool. I didn't mention some of the X-Men villains, you know, Sabretooth and all them. I don't feel like going into all them, but, you know, they were there. I would say some of the disappointments, I think a lot of people wanted to see a Hulk cameo. That would have been really cool. I think that's maybe where they dropped the ball, is that they should have had a Hulk cameo. They did kinda, but it was more of like a flashback, multiverse, not flashback, but like a multiverse Deadpool hopping around thing. They should have had a legit Hulk inside the Void and should have fought it out with Wolverine. I think a lot of people wanted to see an Edward Norton or an Eric Bana Hulk come back to fight Wolverine. I think that should have happened. One, for a lot of the people that love Edward Norton, that would have been cool. But I think Eric Bana would have been more fitting, based off he was the original from the 2000s, early 2000s, and that's where Wolverine started, was early 2000s. And there was always those memes of, you know, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Eric Bana's Hulk, and Hugh Jackman being a part of their own little Avenger world type per se. So it would have been cool to see that, but, you know, it is what it is. It didn't need to happen. I do think if people got that, people would have been raving about that scene. Like, we got to see Hugh Jackman fight the Hulk. But, you know, it is what it is. That's not what the movie was about. And regardless, it was still a good time. If you liked this video, give it a like. Comment down below, what did you think of the movie? Did you like the cameos? Were you disappointed in them? Were you happy with the ones you got? Did you like seeing Wolverine back on the big screen? How does it compare from Deadpool 1 and 2? I don't care. Whatever thoughts are going through your head, comment down below. I would love to engage in any nerdy conversation about this movie. So if you like this video, subscribe, check out more. I will plan on making more content maybe on this movie if this does well. And then also I have Spider-Man content. If you're a big Spider-Man fan, I've been going through all the Spider-Man movies, and there will be more reviews, an eventual ranking to that as well, so stay tuned for that. Alright, bub. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.